Hello, and welcome back to the Casual Leader Podcast, your weekly dose of real talk for people building real businesses and trying not to lose their sanity along the way. I'm your host, and today we're going to talk about something that you're using literally every day. We're going to talk about social media, but not in the way that you've heard it before. Not the here's how to grow your following way, not the algorithms are evil type of way, and definitely not in the I did a digital detox and now I'm enlightened type of way. Absolutely not. We're going deeper than that because here's what I've been sitting with lately. Social media is just a name we give to platforms where we engage daily and we know it's not real. We all know that. And yet we still let it make us feel like we're not enough. We still check how our posts are performing. We still compare our messy, unfiltered lives to other people's curated highlight reels. And now AI is making it even more complicated because if nothing online is real anymore, if any image could be generated, if any influencer could be synthetic, if any voice can be cloned, where does that really leave us? So today I want to discuss it all. What social media actually is, a platform built by people just like me, engineers, how it works behind the scenes, and I mean a bit more technical, not the metaphorical way, why detoxing doesn't work, and I personally don't understand it, but understanding how it works behind the scenes is more important. How can we use those tools without letting them use us? And by the way, I'm pulling all the social media platforms under one as they operate in the exact same way. X, Reddit, Meta, Snapchat, Instagram, TikTok, you name it. They all are exactly the same, just with a different UI. So let's get into it. I want to start with a story because I think it captures everything about how we got here. In 2007, a Facebook engineer named Justin stayed up all night during a hackathon to code something his team called the awesome button. The idea actually came from another Facebook employee, Leah, who noticed that the news feed was getting a bit cluttered with comments that just said things like, oh, I like this, cool, or nice. She thought, what if we could turn all of that into one single click? A burst of positivity. A thumbs up. Justin built it, they've tested it. The original intention was beautiful to create a world where people can uplift each other, to make positivity the path of least resistance. And it was launched in 2009, and it worked. It worked a little bit too well, if you ask me. That little like button became the template for every social media platform that followed. Likes, hearts, upvotes, they all trace back to that one hackathon. And here's the part that gets me. 17 years later, Justin blocks apps on his own phone. He describes his invention, the like button, as bright dings of pseudo pleasure. He limits his use to the platform he helped build. Leah, she hired someone else to manage her Facebook page because she couldn't handle looking at it herself. She said the real mistake wasn't the button, it was actually the counter. That number, that's what turned a gesture of support into a scoreboard. And look, we know that Instagram is trying to remove that number. But the thing is, creators actually need to opt in. How many have you actually seen doing that? Both creators, both Leah and Justin, have said that they regret what the button became. They blame it for the rise of what they called attention economy. This system where our eyeballs are actually the product and engagement is the currency. The thing designed to spread positivity became the thing that make us feel terrible about ourselves. And that's the story of social media in a nutshell, isn't it? Good intentions, unintended consequences, and now we're all living inside this little screen on our phones all the time. So let's actually name what we're dealing with here. Social media is not a window into people's lives, not anymore. It's a stage. We scroll through the highlight reels and treat them like documentaries. We know intellectually that what we're seeing is curated, filtered, edited, optimized. And yet, emotionally, we still feel a little bit off when our behind the scenes doesn't really look like someone else's premiere. Here's the weird part, even the raw posts are curated. Remember the hashtag woke up like this? Someone posts a selfie with no makeup and a caption about being very vulnerable. That's still a performance. That's still a choice about what they wanted to show and what they wanted to hide. The authenticity itself became a brand these days. Look, I'm not saying it's bad. I'm saying we need to be honest about what's happening. When you post something, you're not sharing your life. You're sharing a snippet or a version of your life that you've chosen to broadcast. And when you consume other people's content, you're not seeing their lives. Again, you're seeing a curated snippet of their broadcast. We're all performing for each other, myself included. Here I am. And then we're comparing our interior lives to everyone else's exterior performances. And that's a game that you cannot win. There's a concept from a book called Make Time, which I actually really love, by Jake Knapp and John Zeratsky, that I think about constantly. They call it the infinity pool. An infinity pool is an app or a platform with an endless supply of content that's constantly refreshing. Social media feeds, email inboxes, news sites, streaming services, games. The keyword here is endless. There's no bottom, there's no done. You can scroll forever and never reach the end. And here's the thing, that's not by accident. These platforms are designed that way on purpose. The companies that make them have vested interest in keeping you there as long as possible. The more you scroll, the more ads you see, the more data they collect, the more money they make. You see what I mean? Every feature, every notification, every you might also like, it's all engineered to keep you in the pool. Both Jake and John call Infinity Pools and the Busy Bandwagon a tag team duo of time destroyers. And you get exhausted. Sometimes you just get exhausted by all the demands on your own life. So you seek a little bit of relief in the Infinity Pool. But the pool doesn't refresh you, it actually drains you. And then you're even more exhausted. And the cycle continues. Sounds familiar? But here's what really hit me, the average person spends more than 4 hours of their time on their smartphone and another 4 hours plus watching a version of television or entertainment. So that being Netflix, YouTube videos, Disney Plus, Hulu, whatever it is, every single day. Combine those two, it's a full-time job. Distraction has literally became a full-time job. And we wonder why we don't have enough time for the things that matter. We don't have time to take that walk. We don't have time to go to the gym. We don't have time, insert name here. 8 hours of your daily time, it's spent on distractions. I'm sure you heard it all. Oh, if you want to take a break from distraction, why don't you do a social media detox? Well, here where I want to push back on something that I keep hearing. I I'm just over a digital detox or the taking a break or deleting the apps of your phone for a week. I personally never understood it. I have friends and family that did the digital detox or just deleted their accounts together. You probably tried it too. And here's what I've noticed that happens. You feel great for a few days. Maybe you read a book, maybe you get a walk in the park, maybe you notice the trees and the blue sky. And then you come back and nothing has changed. Within 48 hours, you're right back where you started. Same patterns, same compulsions, same feeling when a post doesn't perform. Why? Because you can't detox from something you don't understand. You're not addicted to your phone. You're addicted to a system that was designed by some of the smartest engineers in the world to be irresistible. Let me say that again. These apps are designed to be addictive, not by accident, by design. Variable reward schedules. That's the same psychology that makes slot machines addictive. Same thing that keeps you on Candy Crush. Notifications that are timed really well to pull you back in when you're away for a little bit too long. The infinite scroll, so that there's never really a natural stopping point. Social media validation tied to metrics and numbers that you can't really control. You don't really understand how the platform works. You can't change your relationship with it. You're just fighting your way through a little break, a moment, and you come right back in the pool. So if you're wondering what actually works, I believe it's understanding. At least that's the difference that I noticed between me and my friends and my family. I never understood the need to detox. I always kept asking, detox from what exactly? I can build a whole damn thing in a week and only show you what I want you to see. I don't get it. Detox from what? And then it dawned on me, understanding the feed is not reality, it's a curation. Understanding that the measures don't measure your worth, they measure engagement. Understanding that the pull you feel isn't weakness, it's a response to a system designed to pull you in. Understanding that at the end of the day, every social media platform is a business that wants to increase conversions and keep their customers locked in their products as much as possible. Look, IKEA is doing it with their maze and strategic food courts. Banks and retail shops are now turning their stores into coffee shops where their customers can hang out just a little bit more. Everyone is doing it. It's just social media is a little bit more aggressive because it's a bit more accessible. Once you see the platform as what it is, you can't unsee it. And that's when you can actually make different choices. So let's talk about how these platforms actually work behind the scenes for a second. Because I think there's something powerful about understanding how unglamorous the infrastructure is. If you wanted to build a social media platform yourself from scratch, very high level, here's what you'd actually need: a UI, which is basically the design that you see and interact with on a daily basis, a few APIs that send requests to a few databases every time you open the app, click, comment, share, or interact with anything. That's pretty much it. A place to store users, posts, relationships, who follows whom, who liked what. A feed algorithm, which by the way, I hate that we're using the word algorithm, but we're going to use the convention. It's more of a matching rule system rather than an algorithm, but anyway. But this is the actual secret sauce, right? It decides what you see when you open the app. It could be chronological, so newest first. It can be ranked by engagement. The rules can prioritize content that will keep you on the platform longer because of the data that has been collecting from you. Because, yes, every second you spend is tracked, monitored, collected to create a profile of you. And, with your user preferences, your likes, your dislikes, your comments, your searches. You also need a notification system, that little ping, the thing that pulls you back in. This is engineered to hit at optimal moments, not when it's convenient for you, but when the data says you're most likely to respond. You also need a feedback loop, for all those reshares, likes, customer support, comment shares. And going back to the user profile, aka the profile of you, these aren't just features, they're data points, all of them. They tell the platform what's working and what's not. What gets engagement gets shown more to the people. What doesn't kind of disappears. That's pretty much it. That's the whole thing. Now, I know this is a very oversimplified way of explaining it. I know. I don't need to hear it in the comments. But I wanted to show everyone high level that social media is not magic. It's not a monster. And this is not a mysterious place where we don't know what happens. We actually do know really well, I might add. The platform that shapes your emotions, that you check compulsively, that makes you feel validated or rejected, it's all lines of code and tables in a database, a ranking function, a notification scheduler. Nothing sacred, nothing mystical. We build it. Engineers wrote the code. Product managers decided the features and the metrics to track. And we can actually think critically about it. We don't have to treat it like some natural force that we can't really understand or control. So, if it's just code, you might ask, why does it feel so personal? Why does low engagement feel like a rejection? Why does a viral post feel like validation? Why do we check our phones first thing in the morning to see if our content performed and people liked what we posted? Well, because we're only humans and we give meaning and importance to it. Plus, humans are wired for certain things. We're wired for social comparison. We elevate ourselves relative to others. That's how we've always done it in tribes, in communities, even in workplaces. Social media just puts that comparison on steroids. Now you're not comparing yourself with your neighbor. No, no, no. You're comparing yourself to millions of strangers, most of whom are showing you their best moments of what they want you to see. You're wired for variable rewards, the same psychology that makes gambling addictive. Sometimes you check your phone and there's nothing there. Sometimes there's a flood of likes, or, another breaking news or shocking experience. The unpredictability keeps you coming back. We're wired to want that hit of dopamine, and we're also wired to want to be witnessed. Posting isn't just sharing, it's asking a question: do I matter? Or does anyone care? And the metrics usually give us an answer, often the wrong answer, but still, it's an answer nevertheless. We also don't want to be left out of the conversation. If everyone is talking about the same inside joke, it's our nature to want to be part of it. So here's what I would like for you to sit with: the social media apps don't know you. The strangers that liked your posts don't know you, at least not the real you. It knows what makes you click. Those are not the same things. Your worth is not measured in likes, and your ideas are not validated or invalidated by engagement. Well, unless they're like a business idea, Your customers are required for your business to succeed. But the numbers under your posts tell you nothing about who you are or what you have to offer. Let's take an example. Shelly Archambault. She's an experienced CEO, advisor, and board of director at companies like Verizon, Otka, Nordstrom, author, and now founder of a nonprofit organization focused on helping early and middle management professional. Her knowledge, expertise, and wisdom is literally gold. I have her book right there. And yet, she gets less engagement and likes than a person that barely knows what the hell they're doing and is now sharing their wisdom on how to win at life when they barely experiences 5 years of life. You see what I mean? That's not real. We've outsourced our self-esteem to a ranking function that's lines of code. And that ranking function doesn't care about any of us. It cares about keeping us on the platform. It's doing its job and getting those ad conversions really high up. You can see that the ads are front and center in everywhere in social media. You can see it in the developer docs, in their APIs, and every single conversation is more around ad metrics and conversion. And if you're not familiar with the ads industry, it surpassed over $1 trillion in total revenue in 2025. It's what keeps paying for Meta and other social media companies salaries, offices, expenses paid, while keeping access for their social media platforms for you for free. You know the saying, if you're not paying, you're the product. Or in this case, both the product, providing the data and engagement, and the customer by clicking on ads and buying from them. Okay, granted, I've been hard on social media for the last few minutes. And I want to be clear, I don't think it's evil. Hell, I'm on it right now. Probably you are too if you're listening to this episode. But it's a tool, like any tool. It can be used well or it can be used very, very poorly. A hammer can be used to build a house or break a window. The problem isn't the hammer. The problem is the relationship we've developed with it. So let me flip this. Because social media, used intentionally, can be incredibly powerful. For content creators and entrepreneurs, for example, this is a megaphone. You can reach people you'd never otherwise reach. You can build an audience for your work. You can connect directly with customers without gatekeepers. I wouldn't have had this podcast without social media. Many of you wouldn't have found me. So it really removes borders between us. You can also use it for learning and growth. You can access experts and ideas across every field. You can join communities of people who share your interest. You can leverage things that would have taken years to discover a generation ago. Personally, I had mentors from Slack, Robinhood, Amazon, Meta that are all the way in San Francisco. Without social media, I wouldn't have ever been able to connect to them. Social media can also be used for genuine connection. Rare, I know, but you can stay in touch with people from different time zones. You can find your people as well, especially if you're in a smaller community or you feel a bit isolated where you live. You can also share experiences and find your tribe. Social media is also used a lot for movements. I don't know if you've seen, but lately, organizing happens a lot on social media these days. Awareness spreads on social media. Voices that would have been silenced a generation ago now have platforms. And in the recent years, social media created a whole new economy. And I quote, the global creator economy is valued at approximately $250 billion between 2024 and 2025 and is projected to reach nearly $500 billion by 2027. It created whole new jobs and career paths such as social media managers, social media agencies, content creators, influencers, community managers, brand partnership managers, video editors specific for podcasts like this, talent agents, because yes, now they're not only for actors and singers anymore, audience growth specialists, thumbnail designers, trial editors, and the newer ones, AI tool technicians or AI engineers with a focus on marketing. Social media is like a megaphone. You can use a megaphone to rally a community, to teach, to share something beautiful, or to build a career or a whole business around it. Or you can also use it to isolate yourself too. The question isn't, is social media good or bad? The question is, how am I using it? And is it serving me? Because just deleting all your apps is not a healthy way to cope with it either. So we've looked at where we've been, where we started, where we are. Now let's talk about where we're going. Because AI is changing everything about this equation. And honestly, it's making the what's real question almost laughable sometimes. Let me break this down the same way I did with social media. Because once you see how it works, it loses a little bit of its shininess. AI is already everywhere in your feed. First, let's be clear, AI isn't coming to social media, it's been there for years. We just started calling it AI recently. And it's not really AI, it doesn't really have a neural network, and it's not all that smart. It's mainly just LLMs. But anyway, it's in your feed. That feed that you scroll. That feed has been using machine learning models since at least 2020. Facebook's news feed ranking system, Instagram's explore page, TikTok for you page. These are all large language models and recommendation engines doing exactly what we now call AI. But here's what's changed for the last couple of years. The models got way better at predicting what you'll engage with before you even know it. TikTok's algorithm famously figures you out and your preferences within about 40 minutes of use. 40 minutes. That's not magic. That's a model trained on billion of data points from users just like you, pattern matching your behavior against everyone else who behaved a little bit similarly. So when you feel like the app knows you, it kind of does. Not because it's sentient, because you're statistically predictable. We all are. And that's a little bit uncomfortable to sit with, I must admit. The content itself is becoming a bit more synthetic. And here's where it gets a little bit weird. It used to be that humans made the content and then algorithms decided who saw it. Now, AI is making content too and also deciding who's seeing what. Let me give you some numbers that actually blew my mind. According to a new study from NewsGuard, AI generated content farms are now producing hundreds of articles a day. Some sites are actually publishing over 1,200 AI written articles daily, and most readers can't even tell the difference. On social media, AI generated images are everywhere. That viral photo that you saw last week, maybe mid-journey. That candid moment of an influencer could be a touch up by AI in ways that goes far beyond just an enhancing filter. And here's a concrete example. In 2023, an AI generated image of Pope Francis in a white puffer jacket went viral and people lost their minds. Millions of people thought it was real. It wasn't. A guy just made it with mid journey in 20 seconds. And we're only getting started. The tools are getting cheaper, faster, better, and more accessible every month. And if you think that science fiction is a little bit far, think again. AI influencers. Lily Michaela has 2.7 million Instagram followers. She's done campaigns for Prada, Calvin Klein, Samsung. She's been interviewed by magazines. She has a Spotify account with actual music. And she's not real. She's just a character created by a company called Brud. Aitana Lopez, the pink haired AI model from Spain, is making up to $10,000 per month from brand deals. Her creators, the Clueless Agency, built her specifically because working with human influencers was a pain. And here's the part that actually gets me: people know that these are not real humans, and they follow them anyway. They comment, they feel a parasocial connection, they care about their lives. And what does that actually tell us? Maybe we never were really connecting with people. Maybe we were always connecting to the performance, the aesthetic, the story, the fact that there's no human behind it. Maybe that matters less than we thought. Or maybe it matters even more and we just haven't really figured that one out. So here's the tension that I keep thinking about. On one hand, AI is making fakery easier than ever. Anyone can generate a photorealistic image. Anyone can write a really polished piece of content. Anyone can create a synthetic persona. On the other hand, that might make real authenticity more valuable. Think about it like this: when everyone can fake the perfection, imperfect actually becomes the signal of real. Even the creators of Stranger Things intro, you know, that like red and black sign, they were trying to mimic the imperfections from the 70s. The blurred lines around the edges, the writing that's shaking just a little bit to give it a bit more authenticity. Meanwhile, the producers in the 70s, they were trying to make it as perfect as possible. The same way we can do it today in minutes. How funny is that? I'm already seeing this playing out. Some creators are leaning really hard into obviously unpolished content. I'm sure you've seen it too. The shaky video phones, no editing, the stream of consciousness. It's a way of saying this couldn't be AI because it's too messy, right? But here's the twist: AI is getting better at mimicking that too. There are tools now that add authentic imperfections to generated content. You know, a little bit of strategic blur, some natural sounding filter words. The performance of authenticity is now being automated. So, where does that leave us? Here's what I think: there's this practical issue that no one has really solved it yet. How you prove that something is actually real? The platforms are experimenting right now with AI generated content tags, watermarks, but these are really easy to remove and only work if the creator actually wants to opt in. Some people are talking about cryptographic verification. So basically, when your camera takes a photo, at the moment that it's taken, they will have a sign or a signature proving that it wasn't generated. But that technology isn't really mainstream yet. And if you edit your pictures in Lightroom or your videos in DaVinci Resolve like I do, then you don't have that. Does that mean I'm not authentic? And for now, I think we're in a weird middle period where a lot of content is AI generated, a lot of it is enhanced, most of it isn't labeled, most viewers can't tell the difference, and frankly, a lot of viewers don't really care. The is it real question used to matter. It might stop mattering. I genuinely don't know which way it will actually go. But the way I see it is there are two possible futures. So let me paint a picture here. Future number one, where authenticity is premium. In this world, verified humanity becomes a selling point. Creators who can prove that they're real, unfiltered, enhanced, they will command the premium attention. 100% human made. Becomes a badge of honor like organic food or homemade. We develop better tools to verify what's real, and audiences actively seek it out. Feature number two, post authenticity. In this world, we kind of stopped caring. You know, entertainment is entertainment, connection is connection. If an AI influencer makes you feel better or laugh, does it matter if they're real or not? If an AI generated song moves you, does the source diminishes the actual feeling? We maybe accept the synthetic content the same way we accepted CGI in movies. It's just part of the landscape. But here's what I actually think: both futures are already happening for different people. Some of us will crave the real and building communities around verified authenticity. And some of us will embrace the synthetic and stop asking whether it matters. And I think the real question here is, it's not which future wins. It's more of a which future do you want to live in? And are you making the daily choices that move you and the rest of us towards it? So maybe let me bring it back to something more practical. If you're a consumer of content, assume that what you're seeing is AI generated or AI enhanced. Not to be paranoid, but more of a realistic. Notice when something seems a little bit too perfect. Not because perfect is bad, but because it might not be real. Ask yourself, does it matter to me whether this is real? For some content, honestly, it might not. If you're a creator, your humanity is an asset. The fact that you're a real person with real experiences, that's actually getting increasingly rare. But don't rely on your humanity as a crutch, because you still need to be interesting, valuable, and intentional. Consider how you signal the realness, not through gimmicks, but through specificity, detail that couldn't be generated, stories that you just can't fake. Reality is better than fiction. If you're building a business, AI tools can actually help you create content faster. Use them. But the creation, the voice, the point of view, that still needs to come from you. Companies winning right now are using AI for scale while keeping the humanity soul. So here's what I would like for you to take from this section. AI in social media is the same story as social media itself. It's a tool built by humans, designed to do specific things. And once you understand how it works, you can make better choices about how to engage with it. The algorithm isn't magic, it's a prediction engine. The AI influencer isn't a person, they're a render and a content strategy. The generated image is not a photography of or a snapshot of reality, it's a statistical output. None of this is good or bad, by the way. It just is. And your job, same as always, is to understand what you're looking at and asking yourself, what do we actually want from this? And is AI and social media serving me if I spend time on it? I know we covered a lot, so let me try to pull it all in together. So, social media started with good intentions. People wanted to connect, engineers wanted to make that easier, and then the platforms took a life of their own, just like any good business does. The like button was supposed to spread positivity and it became a scoreboard. The feed was supposed to show us our friends, but it became an engine maximizing machine. The platforms were supposed to connect us, and they often leave us feeling more alone than ever. And now AI is adding another layer of unreality on top of an already curated, filtered, edited, and optimized experience. So, what does that all mean? Well, it means we have to be more intentional than ever, because the default is to get pulled in. The default is to compare. The default is to let the metrics and the numbers define our worth. The platform is designed to keep you in the infinity loop. The only way out is to understand how it works behind the scenes and then make a conscious choice on how you engage with it. I personally use it for business, cross reference when it comes to news, keeping up with people I like across the world, discovering new accounts that inspire me, and of course, getting some gold laughs with some memes too. So I never really need a detox because it serves me all the time. Sure, it collects some data from me, but I don't serve it. I don't need a timer or lock on my phone or anything else that needs to disengage me because I know how the behind the scenes work. It's all just lines of codes and tables. And I want you to see it in the same way too. And if you want to actually see a very interesting social experiment, I'd recommend watching Fake Famous on Netflix. It's this little nice behind the scene insight of the glamorous life of influencers, from renting out planes like studios to, well, I will let you discover the rest. But I digress, coming back. Let's get practical. When does it make sense to use social media? Well, use it when you have something to share, a message, a creation, an idea, a story. Use it as a broadcast tool, not a self worth validation machine. Maybe a business validation machine. That could work. Use it when you're looking for something specific information, inspiration, connection, community. Go with intention, get what you need, get out. Use it when you're building something specific marketing, audience building, world building, promotion. It's a tool for reaching people. Use it strategically. Use it when it brings you genuine joy. If you actually enjoy what you're seeing when you're scrolling, if it makes your day better, fine, go for it. Funny cat videos are always a good idea. But be honest with yourself about whether it's joy or just habit. So let's talk about when not to use it. Well, when you're bored and reaching for it by default, when you're feeling bad about yourself and hoping for some external validation that will fix it, when you already checked it 3 times in the last 1 hour, when maybe you're avoiding something else, when you want to break from your reality, because maybe there's a bigger conversation that needs to be had there. And the distinction is simple. Are you using it or is it using you? That's just the real question. And I want to go back to the detox thing. As you can see, I'm very passionate about this detox trend that keeps going around. I'm not saying breaks are bad. Sometimes you need to step away. Sometimes the noise is too much. I get it. But a break is not a solution, it's a pause. The solution is understanding. It's seeing the platform for what it is. It's recognizing when you're being manipulated and choosing something else. You don't detox from something by taking a little breaky and then coming back in 2 days. You really detox by changing your relationship with it. That means understanding that the feed is not the reality, understanding that the metrics and the numbers don't measure your worth, understanding that the pull you feel, it's being engineered, it's not personal. Making conscious choices about when and how you engage. Building a life where social media is one input and not the primary input. Once you see it, you can't really unsee it. And that's when the power actually shifts back to you. All right, so I know we covered a lot of ground, but here are the key takeaways. If there's nothing else that you're taking away from this episode, let me leave you with a few points that are actually really, really essential. So, number one, the like button that was designed to spread positivity. Its own creators are now calling it the bright dings of pseudo pleasure, and they actually limit their use of it because they understand how to use it that's best for them. Good intentions don't always guarantee good outcomes. Number two, social media is a stage. I think we all know this. It's not the window into someone else's life. You're seeing performances, not the real lives behind. Stop comparing your interior to everyone else's exterior. Number three, the infinity pools that are designed to keep you in and keep you scrolling forever. The companies profit from your attention, and that's a business model. Number four, you can't detox from something you don't understand. And then you keep coming back and pick it up right where you left it off while keep going on a loop. Learn how platforms actually work, when you can actually make real choices about how to engage. Number five, AI is making everything more synthetic. The question of what's real, it's going to get harder, not easier. Number six, social media isn't evil. I know. It's a tool. It can be used for promotion, learning, connection, and generating movement. The question is, are you using it or is it using you? Number seven, algorithm doesn't know your worth. It just knows what makes you click. Those are not the same thing. And here's what I would really, really like you to try and do this week. Pick one day, just one. And before you open any social media apps, ask yourself, what am I looking for right now? Why am I opening it? For what? If you have a clear answer, great. Go ahead, go get it. If the answer is, I don't know, I'm just bored, close the goddamn app. Do something else. Get out and have a walk. I don't know, whatever works for you. And that's it. That's the whole challenge. Just notice the impulse. You'd be surprised. Ask the questions and just see what comes up. Because the goal isn't to delete everything and go live in a cave. The goal is to be intentional, to use the tools instead of being used by them. All right, that's a wrap. The reality we've been scrolling through was never real. It was always a performance, a curation, a highlight reel. And now AI is making that performance even more seamless and even more convincing, even more detached from anything authentic and real. So maybe the move isn't to reject it entirely. Maybe it's to finally stop pretending that it was real in the first place and decide what we actually want it to be. We made this thing. Humans actually built it. And that means we can think critically about it too. We can use it differently. We can opt out of the parts that don't actually serve us. The scoreboard doesn't measure your worth. The feed does not show you the reality. The algorithm doesn't know you and doesn't know what's best for you. You do. So, next time when you feel bad because of social media or the wasted time because of it, remember that diagram that I showed you earlier with databases and lines of codes and API requests, because that's really what it is behind the scenes. That's it. If you loved or hated this episode, let us know in the comments below. We're here for both. Let's get this conversation started. And as usual, don't forget to like, subscribe, follow, and hit that notification bell so you never miss out on any of the upcoming episodes. We have tons of interesting subjects coming up. Plus, join our community on our website, thecasualleader.com, to keep the leadership vibes going and connect with fellow casual leaders just like you. For any resources, toolkits, guides, or anything that we mentioned in this episode and more, feel free to check out our website again, thecasualleader.com. And until next week, keep being you authentically, lead clearly, build smarter, and remember, everything starts with you. Start casual, keep going, keep growing. Bye!